The alarms began screaming the moment they opened the airlock. And that was when I realized the woman they were about to kill wasn't screaming at all. She stood barefoot on the frost-rimmed deck of Hangar 9, silver restraints glowing around her wrists, eyes lifted toward the stars as if she had already accepted them. No begging. No panic. Just silence. The kind that presses against your chest harder than vacuum. Around her, officers of the Coalition fleet barked orders with rehearsed efficiency. Prisoner designation Zyran envoy. Sentence confirmed. Void casting authorized. I was only a shuttle pilot, lowest clearance, highest expendability, but my hands were shaking on the yoke. 'Cause something was wrong. Not with the execution. With the reason. And the moment I met her eyes through the canopy glass, I knew this wasn't justice. It was fear. But that was only the beginning. The Coalition taught us aliens were logical to the point of cruelty, civilizations built on cold equations where individual lives meant nothing. The Zyran especially were said to feel no empathy, living algorithms wrapped in pale flesh. Yet the woman on the deck looked human in all the ways that mattered. She was tall, willowy, skin faintly luminous like moonlit porcelain, dark markings along her temples pulsing softly. A diplomat, they said. A spy, the admirals whispered. A threat, command insisted. I'd ferried Marines into war zones without blinking, but watching them prepare to shove her into open space made my stomach turn. The stars beyond the hangar shimmered, waiting. Pilot Cade Ryan, my comm crackled. Hold position. I swallowed. Because I'd already made a choice I didn't yet understand. I remembered the first rumor months earlier, when ships began disappearing along the Helios drift. Not destroyed. Just gone. The Coalition blamed Zyran sabotage. The Zyran denied everything. Talks were called. This woman, Envoy Saris, had come alone, unarmed, requesting asylum under ancient interstellar law. Instead, she was seized, interrogated, and condemned in a closed tribunal I wasn't cleared to hear about. As the hangar force field thinned to nothing, a tech muttered, "She won't even feel it." That was the lie that snapped something inside me. Because Saris turned her head, just slightly, and her lips moved. Not a scream. A word. My name. And none of us were prepared for the truth. I slammed the shuttle's thrusters forward before my mind could catch up. "Rhine abort." Command shouted. I cut the channel. The shuttle lurched through the dissolving field, engines roaring, and clipped the execution platform hard enough to send officers sprawling. In the chaos, Saris fell, straight into my open cargo bay. I sealed the hatch on instinct as weapons fire scorched the hull. My heart was trying to break out of my ribs. "You just started a war," someone screamed over the comm. Maybe. Or maybe I'd stopped one. Saris looked up at me from the deck plates, eyes wide now, not with fear, but with something like wonder. She touched the restraint on her wrist, and it fell away, dead metal. "You heard me," she said softly. "So you are the one." What I saw next changed everything. We jumped without coordinates. Space folded into a scream of light, the illegal drive overheating as Coalition cruisers tried to lock on. When the stars snapped back into place, we were alone in a dead system. No planets, no signals, just a shattered ring of debris slowly orbiting a collapsed star. My hands trembled as I cut engines. "You used my name," I said. "How?" Sarah studied me as if I were a puzzle she'd long expected to solve. "Because you think loudly," she replied. "And because your species is louder than it knows." She explained what the tribunal never would. The disappearances weren't attacks. They were rescues. The Helios drift hit a weapon the Coalition had built in secret. A gravity lattice capable of unmaking stars. It had gone unstable. The Zyran had been quietly pulling ships out of its reach, saving lives. And the admirals had chosen denial over truth. But that was only the beginning. I didn't want to believe her. I wanted to turn around, hand her back, pretend this was a mistake. Instead, Saris projected images into the air, hollow worlds torn apart by collapsing gravity, data signatures that matched Coalition tech perfectly. "Your leaders know," she said. "They plan to test it anyway." My chest felt tight. All those speeches about unity. All those medals pinned over mass graves. "Why tell me?" I asked. Her gaze softened. "Because humans feel before they calculate. And because one of you must choose." That was when the system lit up with incoming signatures. Not Coalition. Zyran warform sleek and silent, emerging from folded space like thoughts becoming real. And suddenly I was standing between two civilizations. They didn't fire. Neither side did. Instead, a channel opened. Dozens of voices layered and harmonic speaking through Ceres. The Zyran weren't a hive as we'd been told. They were a chorus, individuals bound by shared memory. They had watched humanity for centuries, terrified and fascinated by our contradictions. "We did not come to judge," the chorus said. "We came to ask if you would stop." At that exact moment, a coalition broadcast cut through, an automated countdown from the Helios drift test site. 30 minutes to activation. My hands clenched. The war everyone feared wasn't coming. It was already here. And it was about to tear the galaxy open. The coalition found us anyway. Cruisers tore into the system, weapons hot, admirals screaming orders. Pilot Rhine, return the asset or be destroyed. Asset. Not person. Not envoy. Ceres closed her eyes as explosions blossomed among the debris. "If they fire on the lattice now," she whispered, "the chain reaction will consume half your sector." I looked at my shuttle, patched, shaking, absurdly small. Then at the Zyran warforms, waiting for permission they wouldn't give themselves. "I'm just a pilot," I said. "I can't stop fleets." Ceres met my gaze. "You already did," she replied. "When you chose." And that was when the lattice activated early. Space began to bend. Stars stretched into lines. Alarms howled across every channel. Coalition ships spun helplessly as gravity surged and collapsed in violent waves. I felt it in my bones, a pressure like the universe squeezing shut. "We have one chance," Ceres said. "Your vessel's drive, primitive, unstable, can disrupt the lattice if you place it at the core." "That'll kill me," I said. She nodded. No hesitation. No comfort. Just truth. Then she surprised me. "I will not let you die alone." But that was only the beginning of the end. We flew straight into the storm. The shuttle screamed as spacetime folded. Hull plates peeling back. Instruments going blind. I thought of Earth, blue and fragile, and all the lies we told ourselves to sleep at night. At the lattice core, a glowing web of human arrogance and genius, Ceres reached out, merging her mind with my failing systems. I felt her memories, worlds older than our sun, losses carried across millennia, hope tempered by patience. Together we triggered the drive. For one infinite second everything stopped. Then the lattice shattered, collapsing inward instead of outward, consuming itself in a silent flash that left nothing but darkness. When I woke, I was breathing recycled air on a Zyran medical deck, stars steady outside the viewport. The warforms were gone. The coalition fleet had retreated, commanders scrambling to bury evidence that no longer existed. Ceres stood beside my bed, her markings dim but steady. "You changed the equation," she said. "Now they must face the truth." I laughed weakly. "They'll try to spin it." She tilted her head. "Perhaps. But your defiance was observed." Across the galaxy, human pilots began asking questions, refusing orders, choosing differently. The chorus had learned something unexpected from us. And so had I. Because as Ceres took my hand, warm, real, undeniably alive, I understood what it meant to be human. Not the strength to destroy, but the courage to disobey, when obedience would end everything.